Amos 3 verse 7. It says, surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. First and foremost, I would like to give out honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Shalom to the hopefully like men that scattered abroad, pushing this truth without sincerity. And that's what shalom to you very few sincere sisters that's taking heed and getting in order in these last days. I'm your brother Amawan, coming to the quick lesson, low ones, edifying and to the point. Right, and going into the end time headlines article, right, it says Wells Fargo patent describes smart dust for biometric payment verification. Right, and what I did was get the definition for biometric. Right, it says biometrics are automated methods used to identify or verify a person's identity based on unique physical, right, fingerprint, face, or behavioral, right, voice, gat, and characteristics. Right, so it's like a small device, right, bio into the information metrics, like going to a very small, and this correlates to what Revelation 13 and 16, right? And we speak on this thing because we know this right here is going to be the reality soon come, right? And as we get closer to this time, right, you're starting to see the dots connect. The prophets one spoke about, but now as we get closer and closer, the dots starting to connecting. The dots starting to be easier and easier to the dots are easier and easier to connect. Starting to make a lot more sense, but it was the spirit of the Yahweh Shemel Shah to reveal it to his servants, the prophets, starting the elders and the apostles, right? So, our road leads to the MOTV, man, right? It's clear as day, but it says, excuse me. It reads, it says, according to the detailed LinkedIn post by Joe Petrosilli, it says Mudiman Wells Fargo has secured an active U.S. patent, right, that envisions a futuristic layer of biometric security using microscopic sensors known as smart dust, right? Known as smart dust. So they're coming out with a new type of technology known as smart dust. It says the patent describes microelectromechanical system known as MEMS, MOTS. It says tiny dust-like particles equipped with sensors that could be released into the air during transactions to verify a user's identity in real time. Right? Ooh, and that stuff, it is like, and it reminds me of just, China. China setting the stage and everybody else following, but that's what it reminds me of, it just reminds me of some type of technology that's in China, so pretty much you trying to pay for something and that transaction to go through, the little smart dust things are going to pay, it's going to it's going to pretty much reach out onto you, and if it don't recognize you, you won't be able to buy your food, man, right? Let me just read all of these because this is pretty interesting when I was reading it earlier. Yeah. It says this technology aims to create an invisible multi-layer authentication shield for banking and payments, potentially transforming how identity is confirmed at point-of-sale terminals or through mobile apps. See? Hey, man, going back to what Revelation 13 and 16, man. Right? In the NLT, it states, hey, he required all. You're gonna have to be recognized inside this system. And what's gonna be the major way is to have that implant, man. Right? It says, where I started at? Okay. It says the process unfolds rapidly upon payment initiation, initiation. So like a base station which could be integrated into a POS terminal, smartphone, or nearby hub, activates and releases the motes near the user. That's wild, man. That goes to show you, man, that technology going to increase in the end, man. You know, it says these sensors float or propel themselves into position, gathering intimate, so like a biometric and environmental data, including heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, breathing patterns, facial recognition, voice signatures, and motion profiles. Ooh, hey man, and that reminds us of what the book of Revelation chapter 13 and 16. Going to that word for mark, you know, going to the word for charagma. I think you got charagma, you go to the root word of charagma is charax, and go to the root word of charax is grapho. You know, and grapho go what? Holding to your information. You know, things to be recorded, things not to be forgotten. Right? So if this thing can't recognize, you can't remember your records, right? You can't access whatever you're trying to pay for. Right? It says these motes are stored in the base station or carried by the user, right? It says in a device. It says upon activation, they are released into the air near the user. The patent summary notes: selected motes then transmit their readings, each carrying a unique ID that forms part of a dynamic smart key. Oh man, this is getting so heavy, man. Call all y'all about you know shot. It says this combined biometric profile this combined biometric profile and key is compared against pre-registered user database with multi-factor matching thresholds, potentially requiring over 95% similarity across data types for approval. And that's what it's going to be about, approval. Do you have the requirements? You know, if not, you won't be approved, man. It says if the data aligns, the system generates a one-time virtual card number and approves the transaction. Mismatches or detection of unauthorized foreign motes trigger an immediate block, adding a tamper-resistant layer. So pretty much you won't be able to, you know, to access what you were trying to get into. And that was really all of the article, and it was just very interesting to me, you know, because like I said, they are leading towards that MOTB, man. You know, we here. You know, call all you how about Shemel Shot. You know, that's why I want to start off with the book of Amos. You know, chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord will do nothing but he revealeth his secret into his servants the prophets. And what are them secrets? Hey, the prophecies, man. You know, we see them getting, you know, rising up earlier and earlier. I mean, we see them getting closer and closer, you know, to this one major prophecy, right? But I'm gonna close out. You know, as a matter of fact, I think since that scripture is already up, I'll read that. Oh no, that's Zephaniah. Let me get the book of Habakkuk. This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the visions yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. You know, and that's what the vision that we're seeing right now is come to pass in real time, man. It's not tarrying, right? The days are going by fast as hell. You know? Excuse me. And we already know soon come. This is gonna be the major idea that they have in order to bind society, right? And they can roll out with this right now. The smart does, because it's all about gradual. It's all about making people adapt to the new way of living. You know, especially when you corner Jake in. You know, they're gonna adapt easily to it, right? So I'm bust this little time right now. This is the book of Revelation. I want to get those, you know, those key points from out of there. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13. All right, just want to correlate those things right quick. Revelation 13 and verse, I read at the NLT. It says 16. He required everyone. See, and that's what reminded me of the biometric thing, the motes thing, if it's looks foreign, right, doesn't recognize the the characteristics, right, you'll be locked out. It'll be it's tampered. Transaction fail. Whatever you're trying to purchase. And that's what reminds me of the quote. You own nothing and be happy. Because you're gonna have folks trying to finesse their way through, and can't get it. Right? It says he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without that mark. See? Without that mark. You need this man's digital device in order to maneuver. It says which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. Right? Here's wisdom. Let him. So here's wisdom is needed here. Let the one with understanding saw the meaning of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man's number 666, right? Which is 346 Kasta stigma, which is all going to Pearson. You've been a UPC, Universal Product Code. You're gonna be that new barcode, man. But let me just grab that word for mark right quick. Definitely want to grab that. Because like I said, going to the biometrics. And, hey, you got to make it a plain upon tables, man. The word for mark, if I can get to it, okay, is charagma, right? Goes into what? A scratch or etching, because you got to pretty much break through the skin to place that charagma, place that device. So on the outside you got these little motes that are going to pretty much get on your fingertips, and like I said, it's a smart dust. You got to analyze if the pattern of your finger, forgot the word, Salakia. Pretty much you got to know the pattern of your fingers. It's a word I can go deeper into. I just can't. It's not coming to mind right now. But anyway, right, this is the badge of this right is the badge of the believers, right? They will have this mark, right? This badge of servitude. All right, so going to the root word of charagma, which will lead to karax, right? And karax is simply meaning this simply means that's the scratching, the instrument. So like that's the instrument they're going to use to place that device on the inside of the body, And the root word of karax is grapha, which is the main word I want to grab, which is going to correlate to this whole lesson of having. You can go from a smart dust, that's still going to be from the outside, messing with your fingers, the pattern of your fingers, stuff like that, to it's going to be inside your body. That's the same thing that's going to have the same information, because it says to write. It says to write with reference to the contents of the writing, to express in written characters, to commit to writing, things not to be forgotten, write down, record. And like I just said earlier, if you don't recognize the pattern, the biometrics, it's not gonna it's not gonna work. So I just want to close off with that. And Lord willing, this lesson was quick and edifying. Right? I want to give out honor and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Bahashem, Rakakadash. Hey, shalom, and on to the next one.